Hello and welcome to This Week at the General Assembly for March 20th, 2015. In this week's show, we'll be discussing House Bill 128, which deals with referendums for certain local debt, and economic development plans proposed in the Senate. We'll also have NCACC Government Relations Coordinator Hugh Johnson on to speak about the talk of possible changes in how sales taxes are distributed to counties. Remember that you can always find more information on any of the topics we discuss here by visiting www.ncacc.org. Let's begin today's show with legislation that would likely require voter referendum on the large majority of local government debt. The bill stalled this week after active opposition. House Bill 128, referendum for certain local debt, would require voter approval on any debt if at least 5% of registered voters signed a petition requesting a referendum. The bill was scheduled to be heard in the House Local Government Committee, but was removed from the agenda when numerous stakeholders, including the NCACC and individual counties, shared strong objections. Sales tax distribution is important to counties, and changes in how those funds are distributed is under discussion. Here is NCACC Government Relations Coordinator Hugh Johnson with more.
We're hearing discussions in the General Assembly about moving away from the existing distribution of sales tax to our counties, and many of you likely saw a news article last week that discusses a Senate plan or the framework for a plan to move away from the existing sales tax distribution model to more of a per capita distribution model. Currently, sales tax is distributed to our counties for the most part on a point of delivery model, meaning wherever the sale is delivered to the customer, which is typically in a store, the county that occurs in receives the bulk of the sales tax. Again, it's hypothetical. We haven't seen any details, so it's hard to speculate. However, moving to a per capita model likely benefits counties that don't have large retail centers at the expense of counties that might have a larger retail operation. Well, no bill has been filed, and we haven't seen any specifics yet, but we are in conversations with the legislature and tracking this issue closely. It's important to remember that counties adopted a general principle at our January Goals Conference to oppose redistribution of existing revenues. And to that end, we are working on a solution that will benefit all 100 counties.
We thank you for that report. We'll have more right after this break. NCACC Risk Management Pools, covering the vehicles and people who cover you. Finally, let's talk about economic development. The Senate filed two economic development bills that differ significantly from plans proposed by the governor and the House. Senate Bill 338, Economic Development Tax Modification, would lower the state's corporate tax rate from 5% to 4% in 2016, and then to 3% in 2017. The bill also moves toward a corporate tax model called Single Sales Factor, basing a company's sales tax liability on sales rather than property value and payroll. A parallel bill filed in the Senate addresses the funding shortfall facing the JDIG, or Jobs Development Investment Grant Program. Senate Bill 326, Increased JDIG Program Fund, raises the cap on JDIG by $5 million to $27.5 million for this biennium. House Bill 117, the NC Competes Act, which passed the House, would raise this cap by $22.5 million to $45 million. The House bill moves towards a single sales factor, but only for larger companies that invest more than $1 billion in the state. Well, that's all we have for this week. If you would like more information on any of the topics we've discussed here, please visit www.ncacc.org. There you can subscribe to our legislative bulletin as well as follow us on social media. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.